5, 4, 3,
You can go, yeah.
2, 1. Welcome to this week's.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Travel Alert. I'm Steve Glenn.
I'm Paul Glenn.
Hey, and this week we're about to take wings. We're headed for where, Paul?
Istanbul, Turkey.
Istanbul, Turkey. As a matter of fact, when you watch this, we may be flying all the way there, and we're going to go to Chicago and then fly direct on Turkish Airlines.
Turkish Airlines.
And so today we're going to talk about Turkish Air. We're going to talk about Istanbul, Turkey, all the fun things you don't want to miss, and actually all the cool things that Turkish Air does that you may want to consider them next time you travel to Europe, to Asia, even the Middle East. You may think about them. So if you're ready to go, Paul,
Let's go.
here we go. The title on this week's Weekly Traveler reads, Hello from Istanbul, Turkey. Well, Paul, we're not quite there yet.
Still
but
flapping our wings.
They're still flapping our wings, but we're about to go. We're going to leave in today. And so I thought I would write a little bit about our business trip. We're taking some of our staff, and then who else?
We've got about 10 of our corporate travel managers that are traveling with us. Well, not necessarily traveling with us, but we're meeting them there and then going to have some fun adventures.
So basically, these are the people that manage large corporations. They're travelers, their travel budgets, negotiate airlines and hotels. We try to help them do that. And then they want to see the world, see the different hotels, understand the airlines, the connecting points on the airlines in Istanbul.
There are a lot of people that are involved in travel within their corporate travel programs, but they don't get to travel that often.
Yeah.
So, we try to do this maybe once a year or so and get people out so they can see what the world of travel looks like now. And this has especially been since COVID. The world of travel changed dramatically during that period. So getting out, getting that experience, doing international. So you're seeing what customs entails. A lot of our people will have global entry. That has changed dramatically and gotten much easier over the last couple years. So there are a lot of things that unless you get out and do it, you don't understand what it entails, and that's where your value is to your travelers.
You bet, and we're going to go, as we said before, to Istanbul, Turkey. One of the things that people aren't aware of is Turkish Air. Many people in the U.S. probably don't even know them, but they are one of the largest. They're actually the largest international airline. They travel to 130 countries.
Wow.
264 international destinations. So they're giant, and they've got great service. We're going to talk about all the differentiators with Turkish Airlines today. So here we go. For the second title on this week's Weekly Travel Alert, here's the coolest thing about flying Turkish Air. Now, everybody has jokes about airline food.
There's a reason for that.
There's a reason for
yes.
that. Here's the coolest thing with Turkish Airlines. They have flying chefs. It's the coolest thing. You see these push carts down the aisle. There's a chef with the chef hat on. He's serving people, and they're known for their cuisine, some of the best cuisine in the air.
I'm looking forward to the best airline steak that I've ever had.
Okay. Well, so that's really one of the great differentiators that they have, and then they also they've got. On all their business class, that's for business class service. They have these chefs that serve you, and for 8 hours. They also have this cool thing called a candlelight dinner. And obviously, they're not real candles. They're the candles that look like a candle.
Last thing I want to have on an airplane is a candle.
A fire. Yeah, you don't want to really have a fire. But it is a cool thing because they kind of set a tone, and they offer you great food. You got a chef, and so those international flights. So now, the next item on this week's Weekly Traveler, we've been doing this 37 and a half years, Paul. This is sponsored by Executive Travel. Every week, the Weekly Traveler email goes out to 100,000 people. So this is our podcast that we follow up that email with, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. We've been going now for almost 6 months.
Probably 5 or 6 months.
5 or 6 months.
Yeah, and we are having fun.
We're enjoying it. We've got hashtag Snurdly with us. Ryan Swihart's at the keyboard doing all the fun stuff up there. He wants me to sing. He likes my voice.
And if you didn't watch last week's, you need to go back and watch it because you can see that he's a real person. He does exist, and he put himself in there so he can introduce himself.
Yeah, that's right. So here we go. Here are the 8 reasons you should consider flying with Turkish Air to your next international destination, specifically into Europe, Asia, and I think the Middle East as well. Number 1, Turkish Air offers 12 USA gateways.
Currently,
and
they're adding another one
Yeah,
next
but
month. Yes.
They go to Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago, Houston, LAX, Miami, New York City, and Newark, San Francisco, and Washington Dulles. So,
and they'll be adding Denver. So we
by
talked
the
about
13th.
that. Well, we talked about that a little bit on the last podcast. Adding Denver will be a great opportunity for those of us out of the Midwest.
You bet. And you know what I like about that? I use a lot of frequent flyer miles to go business class, and I use them on Aeroplan. I take my Amex points, convert them into Aeroplan, and Aeroplan works with Star Alliance carriers, which Turkish Air is one of the Star Alliance carriers. And so I can find business class seats a lot of times on Turkish Air.
One other thing that we had some back and forth with one of our clients earlier today is if you are flying Turkish Air and your business class, then you would have access, dependent upon what your gateway city is, to, say, a United Polaris Lounge.
Oh my gosh,
So,
Polaris
which
Lounge.
If
we
you
can go in
haven't-
there.
Yeah, if you haven't experienced one of those, it's a great opportunity to do so.
Yeah, they have a restaurant in a Polaris Lounge, obviously a bar. They've got beds if you're tired and you've got a 4-hour layover and you want to sleep.
Shower.
You can shower in
you get
there.
cleaned up
Got
if
great restrooms as well. So number 2, second reason, of course, we just
just did it,
mentioned,
yep.
which is they're going to start flying to Denver. Is that in June?
I think it was May.
In May? Okay. Well, hopefully. So we'll
Yep.
give that a try. And number 3, they are the only airline to offer flying chefs, which we mentioned before. So that's number 3. Number 4 reads, they fly to 264 international destinations, which is the most of any airline.
But I think that's the key, and that's one of the reasons why they have so much coming into the United States and lift out of the United States is they are a great option that can be more cost effective than some of the main lines that we're used to here in the U.S. That going through Istanbul can be great ways to get to parts of Europe and other parts of Asia. One of the unique things about Istanbul that we didn't hit on is it's the one city in the world, I believe, that is on 2 continents.
Yeah.
So it's split
Asia
by
and
the
Europe.
Bosphorus, and so part of the city is in Asia, part of the city is in Europe.
Here's the question of the day, Paul. What did Istanbul's name used to be?
Constantinople.
Hey, no, did you actually stay awake during geography class? And
Maybe Bible class or
Okay.
something.
Okay, yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
lost a lot of brain cells since elementary school.
So, okay, number 5, we've talked about a little bit before, but they're a member of the Star Alliance. So let's think of some of the airlines that are in the Star Alliance. United Airlines is number 1. Air Canada, Lufthansa is a German airline. You've got, of course, Turkish Air. You've got Austrian Air. You've got...
One of them, is it Austria that's changing? One of them is changing.
Oh, that's
here at the end of
SAS.
the SAS,
Yeah,
okay.
moving
It's
to
going
the
to One World or Delta's program.
Delta's
Yeah.
program, you bet. So basically, if you are a United guy or gal and you fly Turkish,
Domestic,
you can
yep.
have those miles accrue to your United account.
And you get if you've got status, your gold status carries over and all those types of things. So
that's really a benefit. And also, if you've got luggage check, they'll connect it into that Star Alliance carrier too. So that's a great advantage when you're traveling, is to stay in that Alliance network. Number 6 reads, they offer free stopovers. You and I have talked about this
They do,
before. If
yeah.
you travel coach class, you can stay over a day. If you stay business class, you can stay over 2 days, and they'll put you up in a hotel.
Yeah, I think this is one of the differentiators that they offer. Is they really want people to come to understand Istanbul.
Yeah.
Istanbul isn't necessarily a destination that I think of when I want to get away and go spend a couple days. But I think when you get there and you can see the culture, some of the history, come to recognize, it's thousands of years old. There's a lot going on there. So I think that's what they're trying to do, is just get people exposed to it with the hope that they'll want to spend more time there in the future.
You bet. And they'll actually even do some tours of the city while you're there. So, there's a lot of benefits to do it. Number 7 I have on the this week's Weekly Travel Alert of the 8 reasons you should consider flying on Turkish Airlines reads, the business class lounge in Istanbul is the biggest and the best in the world. I put a click-through on that, but it is gigantic, and you can have pedicure, manicure, showers, almost every food in the world.
You can get lost just trying to find, I always find my place I'm going to sit, leave my bag, then I'll go wander off and find something to eat. You may never find your luggage again if you do that. So I remember, and that was in the old airport. Now they've got their new airport. That's 5 years old maybe, if not less than that. And, they even made the club larger.
Oh, it's gigantic, and I think it's the biggest in the world. And speaking of big, that goes to number 8 on the 8 reasons why you should fly Turkish Airlines the next time you head business class into Europe, Asia, or the Middle East reads, the Istanbul airport terminal will take your breath away as it is the largest terminal in the world and also has the most amazing shopping in the world. If you thought Fifth Avenue in New York City was amazing, this sparkle and the shops in the terminal in Istanbul airport will blow your mind.
Yeah, and I haven't been to the new airport, so this will be my first time there, but I know it was impressive last time I was there. But, that's just one of those things in general. I'm not a big shopper, but anymore, they set the airports up as shopping malls.
Yeah, they are.
They just happen to have airplanes that are flying in and out. When you especially the big international airports, you go through customs, immigration, all that stuff, and then you get into the terminal, and you've got hundreds of thousands of square feet that's just name brand shopping.
Yeah, and if you think about it, we're kind of spoiled here in the U.S. by having all the shopping we do, but many countries don't have that extensive shopping. They wouldn't have access to some of the amazing watches shops, jewelry stores, and all that things. They'd have to go to a Hong Kong or somewhere like that to even find those types of shops. So the shopping is amazing, and that's another reason why they want you to stay over.
Exactly. Yep.
So those are the 8 reasons that you should consider flying on Turkish Air. Now, Paul, have you ever been to the Grand Bazaar?
I have not.
Oh, my gosh.
Last time we were there, I was there for a convention, and so our days were in a convention hall.
Yeah.
And then our evenings, we had some amazing events. We actually got to have a dinner at a palace, and these palaces are 1,000 years old, so they're truly amazing. And how they furnish these palaces is incomprehensible in my little world. And many of us in the United States, where country's been around a couple hundred years, we don't have anything like what they've got in countries like this. But that we did get out on a boat on the Bosphorus for a bunch of Americans that were part of the group, and then we did a late night boat ride on the Bosphorus. That was a pretty good time as well. So no, the Grand Bazaar will be something new for me.
Well, the Grand Bazaar is gigantic as well, and you can buy anything in there. And I know I've bought rugs in there. I brought some home.
I've got a rug sitting in my office at home. Yep.
Yeah, I think that was a rug I bought the last time I was in Istanbul, and every month I get a call from the guy wanting to sell me another rug. So we got the Grand Bazaar, we got the Bosphorus cruise.
Yep. And then the Spice Market.
Spice Market is great. And then you've got the Blue Mosque, several mosques. There's 3 or 4 mosques that are just grand, and you see the silhouette of them on the horizon oftentimes.
Kind of what they're known for. I mean, when you think Istanbul, that tends to be the picture that pops in your mind.
Yeah, now they call also Turkey and Greece have this big fight going on because they call it Turkish coffee, but the Greeks say it's their coffee. And it's the Greek coffee that the Turks stole from them. So they go back and forth fighting over what Turkish coffee is, it Greek coffee or Turkish coffee. But you get it, and it is strong. It'll put hair on your chest, I'll tell you.
Of all the issues in the world, where did the coffee come from? That's at the top of the list over there.
So I know you and I are excited about getting on the plane, and we're going to head off into the sunset and have a great few days in Istanbul. Thank you for joining us today on the Weekly Travel Alert. This is sponsored by Executive Travel. Paul Glenn is the CEO of Executive Travel. I'm the chairman. We're joined by our good friend, #Snurley, which we call Ryan Swihart. And we're glad you're joining us. Please do the zip, boom, ba, click, boom, bang. So what do you call that?
That like, subscribe, share, and add any comments or questions down below so we can hit on topics that are of interest to you in future episodes. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.